Hi gorgeous, it's Adele from Get Gorgeous. How has your Easter been? Have you eaten so much chocolate that you're now going to do your normal and starve yourself and go on a diet? Don't. Bust the diet myth. Count macros, not calories. Nutrition and diet is always in the media, social and otherwise, with headlines like coconut oil is poison, you're eating too much protein, red meat is going to kill you, blueberries are a superfood and fats are bad. What should you be eating? And what are the effects on your body with what you're eating? Headlines and nutrition has become sensationalized. The tabloid headlines, social and otherwise, have got this daily digestive intake of crazy headlines. It has been a scandal. The last 50 years has been a scandal. The British Medical Journal says weak science, strong personality, vested interest and political expediency has initiated a series of experiments. That's what it's been. The last 50 years has been an experiment and it hasn't worked. Nina Teicholz from The Big Fat Surprise calls almost nothing that we commonly believe today about fats upon closer examination appears to be accurate. So nothing appears to be accurate on what we know. Dr. Mosley says the public needs to realise that the NHS hasn't necessarily got it right. Jaw-dropping. It's a misconception. Fats are a misconception and we are overeating carbohydrates. Our high dependency on carbs means that your diet is anything but balanced. So let's go back to basics. Let's examine the ratio of your macros. I want you to count nutrients, not calories. The macro picture, the bigger picture of what you're doing, not what milk you're putting into your tea. That is introspection. You want the bigger picture. So what is a macro? You tell me, what is a macro? A macro is fats, protein, and carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are broken down into two different types. You've got your green carbs, your healthy carbs, your curly kale. You need those. I'm not going to argue with that. And you've got your starchy carbs. You've got your beige carbs, your pasta, your bread, your potatoes, things like that, your starchy carbs. One of the things I really want to draw to your attention is that protein is acid-based, okay? Meat protein in particular is acid-based. And vegetable green carbs are alkaline. You need those two to balance out. Do you remember pH 7.4? You need the balance for those two. So just that's a little aside, make sure that you do it. But how much, in what ratio do you need these different macros? If you're on a low-fat diet, your industry, because it is that, a diet industry, is going to tell you to eat 60% carbs and 20% protein. If you're on a low-carb diet, then you're going to be asked to eat 10% carbs and 30% protein. Interestingly, the protein doesn't vary that much, but the carbs are huge. And what makes up the difference? Fats. So where do you start? What are you supposed to do? How much carbs do you need? Well, rather than asking from the answer in a plan, look at your own body. And it depends. It depends on your body type. Now, if you're an ectomorph, if you're Cameron Diaz, if you're Kate Moss, if you're long, tall, Swedish and blonde, then you can probably eat much more carbs than somebody like me, who's a little smaller, darker, swarthy. You need more carbs to fuel your day. If you're tall, Swedish, blonde, gorgeous, then fabulous. You can eat more carbs. Your activity levels are high, fabulous. But if you are more like a mesomorph, if you're like Madonna or Halle Berry, if you're a little bit stronger, then you need slightly less carbs. And if you're an endomorph, If you're Kim Kardashian or Beyonce with a gorgeous booty, you need to monitor your carbs even more. It depends on your body type, and it also depends on your activity level. Let's be honest. Are you completing your 10,000 steps a day? Are you working out at least 3 times a week? That's the average. In order to be really working out, you need to be doing an awful lot more than you're doing at the moment, and then you can earn the carbs that you want. You have to balance it with a huge amount of exercise before you can start taking on the carbs that you're doing at the moment. Carbohydrates produce the hunger cycle. Your body prefers to eat carbs. They prefer it because it produces glucose. Whether it's veg or a starchy carb, your body produces glucose, and your body is hungry for glucose, but you cannot burn fat whilst glucose is in the body. They work differently. They work in separate systems. And if you've got glucose in your body, your insulin response comes in and you get hungry again. It's biochemistry. So if you switch and you change your macro balance, you're not going to be as hungry. Don't believe me? Try it. Try it and you may, I say. Where does that come from? So in the past, after Easter, we've starved ourselves. We've gone on diets. I haven't, I've only done it once. And what does that affect? That affects your self-esteem. Stepping onto the scales affects your self-esteem, nothing more. It is going to make you feel bad about yourself. It is also going to have an effect on your hormones, your insulin level. Your glucose level is going to be affected, and your I'm full hormone is going to be disrupted. So don't diet, don't count calories. Start with you. Notice when you're hungry. Notice what you've eaten because you're hungry. Notice what your triggers are to eating. Are you eating because you have to eat, you're starving, or are you eating because there's an emotional trigger? Look at what you're doing. I know, there's no answer in potions and pills. There's no answer in particular programs. It's noticing you. I want to help you, of course I do. I can chat to you weekly. You could buy my gorgeous book and I will talk through your triggers, the triggers that I've experienced, the triggers that other gorgeous girls have experienced, and work on your own. Then you can use guidelines to help you find your true you. Prioritize your health. Don't make it second best. Make it your priority. With good health, you can achieve so much more in life. Look at your macro balance. Start with the guidelines that I outline in the book and find it and specialize it and make it pertinent to you. That's the true answer. Take care, gorgeous girls. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.